Hey, Tyler.
Oh, I mean, I'd say the source of the Russian advantage in this war has been a couple of things. First of all, the I'd say a lot of it has to come down to, I mean, first of all, the Russians clearly have a quite well trained and well prepared army.
A huge part of Russia's lackluster performance in the early part of this war, including its failed attempts to capture Kiev, has been blamed on Russia's lack of preparation. According to a leaked letter from the Kremlin, Russian intelligence agencies and war planners were told that the Ukrainian invasion was a hypothetical thought experiment, and that a positive outcome would be politically beneficial. So plans that were made were built entirely on the idea that the West would not intervene, that Ukrainian forces would lay down their arms, and that the population of Ukraine would welcome their Russian liberators. However, Russian generals seemed to act as if these plans were genuine and prepared accordingly. The first wave of Russian troops were very lightly trained, young and lacking supply for a prolonged campaign. And Putin agrees. He's been very forthcoming in placing the blame on all of Russia's military failures squarely on its generals and their lack of preparation. This is a narrative that has been parroted by the pro-Russian military bloggers and even by the Russian people themselves. When Tyler says that the Russian army was well prepared and well organised, he is not reading from Russian propaganda that has spoon-fed him this narrative. He is straight up lying.
And so what that's telling me is their operational readiness rate has probably gone from 40 or 50% to 80 or 90%, as far as having all their equipment and all their works.
Again, a huge part of Russia's early failures was that its advanced equipment did not work, either through lack of maintenance, as we saw with the Panzer S1, or because its capabilities as a system had been greatly overhyped, as we saw with the Buk and the S-400s, systems that were designed to take down drones and aircraft, and were being blown up by drones and aircraft.
And the Russians have deployed a lot of older stuff, but it's generally been pretty well modernized older stuff, and they have generally a newer generation of equipment, and their units are more complete in the sense that they're better filled out with newer generation equipment.
This is again objectively not true. Almost everything Russia is currently using dates from the fucking Soviet era, which ended 31 years ago, and has been upgraded to the standards of the fucking 90s. Yes, they have newer, modern stuff that was due to replace all of that. Things like the T-14 and the Su-75 projects, or even the new AK-15 battle rifle, have all been hampered by long production delays, which means that Russia has had to fall back on upgrading older stuff, or issuing what it had in storage and hoping for the fucking best. And in many cases, an example being the T-90 main battle tank, these upgrades relied on Western parts, all of which are suddenly not available, meaning that once a T-90M is lost, you can't replace it. It's gone.
Also, again, they have deep strike weapons that can easily hit the Polish-Ukrainian border.
Which they have been exclusively using to target civilians and have now run out of, to the point where they were firing anti-ship missiles at civilian targets. But if they can hit the Polish border, then please, hit the Polish border. The Poles would love nothing more.
Plus they have air superiority and have had that since day one.
What? What? No, they haven't. What fucking planet are you looking at? Their early deep strike missiles and artillery did not take out Ukrainian radar stations, anti-air systems, or aircraft. The Ukrainian Air Force is very much still intact and regularly makes airstrikes. Russia does not have air superiority. If they did, they wouldn't be having such a major problem with drones. They wouldn't have been forced to rush all their anti-air defenses to the fucking front lines. They wouldn't be hiding behind giant artillery screens. I think at this point it has become somewhat obvious that this man has no fucking idea what he is talking about. So far, all he has done is repeat other people's opinions, and now he's had the opportunity to talk about what he knows. He has proved he knows absolutely nothing. He's parroting the propaganda lines he's picked up from the others, and the rest of the time he is just literally making it up as he goes along. He doesn't have a fucking clue what is going on in Ukraine, or even what's going on in Russia. And honestly, I'm not going to waste time on this anymore. This video is over an hour long, and we are barely half an hour into this 2-hour long podcast. podcast. I don't have the energy, or the alcohol, or the ability to drink the amount of alcohol that I would need to consume to produce a 5-hour-long video debunking all the dumb shit these people say. I think I've proved my point multiple times now. These people do not know what they are talking about. At best, they have a surface level knowledge that I'd expect of an office worker discussing deeply complicated political events around the water cooler, their opinion based entirely on last night's news report. There has been absolutely no discussion between them all. All they have done is cut between each other to deliver a ham-fisted opinion on a topic that is quite literally just a PR narrative from a Russian propaganda channel. You can go download a VPN and just watch Russia Today now. You don't need these people to tell you what it said. New Atlas up there, the fact that he calls himself a journalist when he has clearly done no research and is blatantly prepared to ignore facts if they disagree with him, is quite frankly laughable. Maybe this is not his subject. Maybe where his strength lies is in the geopolitical situations in Asia. Maybe if I watched his stuff on Asia and on the political situation over there, I would be more impressed by what he has to say. If you're familiar with this man's work, do let me know in the comments if you think I'm being unfair. The other guy down here, Armchair Warlord, shouldn't even be on this fucking podcast. He clearly knows absolutely nothing. He doesn't even seem to understand the basics. He doesn't even know the propaganda lines. He's literally just bumbling his way through this fucking podcast, and the only reason he has any notoriety is because non-credible defense think he's a lolcow and like to poke him for fun. I've heard more sane takes from fucking Mike Sparks. This guy is a whole level lower than fucking Mike Sparks. That should tell you everything. History of Legends, look, he seems smart. He seems reasonable. His videos can be entertaining, but honestly, he is following the propaganda narrative and he is grasping at straws to construct arguments. I want to say he's a good guy, but he's not. He has an agenda, and that agenda has blinded him to what is right in front of him. Again, he's done very little research, and what little he has done is very skewed towards one side. Look, if you want to watch the whole video yourself, I'll leave a link in the description. I've been at this for a lot longer than I thought I would.